Hello, I'm Chef Oya with Mirror Indie, and right now we are having our potluck party. I have a couple of friends with me today, and we have all prepared a sweet potato dish. I would like to know what each of you brought, why you made it, and what it makes you feel, right? Chef CeCee.
I brought a sweet potato medley. One of the reasons I created this dish was because as a child, I didn't even know Brussels sprouts came the way that they did, meaning they came fresh. I always got them out the can, I always got them frozen, so naturally you just hate them. So as I began my love for culinary, you just start piecing together the sweet piece that we've always had at Grandma's house, and I made it savory. Some umami, you've got some sweetness, you've got a little bit of tang, you've got acid. Oh, and it has some hot honey. So it's my sweet potato medley with hot honey sauce.
JY, tell us what you brought.
Well, I brought sweet potatoes and apples. I grew up with sweet potatoes just being very basic in terms of they got them out the can and boom, eat that. Or Thanksgiving at my stepdad's, it was just kind of basic sweet potatoes with the marshmallows on top. I hated marshmallows, so I always had like this love-hate relationship with sweet potatoes. So it took me, I guess, like becoming an adult and developing my taste for flavors that I figured out, actually, I do love sweet potatoes. I liked sweet potatoes and applesauce together for some reason. Like just a little thing of applesauce off to the side, not mixed together. And that just kind of turned into me playing around with cutting apples and putting them directly in with the sweet potatoes. Today I used Honeycrisp and Granny Smith apples. Usually I only use Granny Smith because I like the tart tanginess going with the sweet potato. I believe they will be pretty fantabulous when you get that mixture of tart and tangy and sweet and just shy of savory. So it's not a family tradition, it's more of a JY situation.
And Don, tell us what you brought right there.
Well, I brought a sweet potato cheesecake pie. So it was a nod to my childhood growing up, being at Big Mama house and my aunties was always a sweet potato pie there. I wanted to put my spin on it with me being a cheesecake guru and that being my business. It was natural for me to try to incorporate the two. So it's a nod to tradition, things that we grew up on, that familiarity, but then also a little left turn to give you something a little different, trying to bring it into the 2025 era,
I like.
So I originally had something else planned. Since my original plan didn't work, I just decided to go with my auntie's sweet potatoes, her candied yams. The way that she always cut them was very unique to me because I never saw anybody else cut them the way she cut them. So she always cut them really thinly and sliced them very thin, like the long way. And then she layered them. So when you cut into it, there's like layers, almost like a lasagna, right? And then she puts the syrup and stuff. And I'm sorry, JY, I grew up with marshmallows on my sweet potatoes. So that's just the way I love to do it. I know there are some people that just like can't stand it, but I ain't one of them.
I'm not anymore.
Right.
But growing up, I would be like, what's happening on the top?
So it's mine.
Especially when they weren't toasted.
But you gotta have them toasted on the top. That's the
yeah,
thing. You can't just put them in there and then they just melt a little bit. You gotta have that toast on them. And then I also added on top Mrs. Root's seasoning. It's a sweet potato pie spice. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it. All right, so we are gonna dig in. We're gonna go down the order. So we're gonna start with mine and then finish with Don's.
Gotta make sure I get some of this marshmallow.
Got to get the marshmallow. And I can't say it tastes exactly like hers, right? Because she got a few years on me, but it's close.
Like, I just need some macaroni and cheese because I gotta eat it together.
Right?
I can't eat like sweet potatoes by themselves. Right.
Greens.
I gotta have the sweet and the savory all in one. So.
I'm gonna steal that little layer idea.
Hey, ain't that
that's real good.
We always struggling trying to get the juice on there. By the time we get it on there, it ain't on there no more.
Right. So we gonna give the credit to my auntie Niecy right there.
What's up, okay, auntie?
Shout out to Niecy.
All right. The next one we have is the sweet potato medley. There's roasted Brussels sprouts, roasted sweet potatoes, roasted pepitos, bacon. There's some dried cranberries, a little bit of hot honey sauce, caramelized onions, and some smoked blue cheese.
I'm ready to steal this too.
Me too.
The bacon and the blue cheese, never would have thought about doing that. It's perfect. I like sweet and savory. So sweet, savory, spicy, all that. Yeah, so this is definitely one of my favorites.
Meanwhile, I have not said a word. It's so good. I love it. Like, I have a thing about textures, so I love the crunchiness of the pepita, right? And then the softness, the creaminess of the blue cheese, that crisp Brussels sprout, and some of the Brussels sprouts, it's got a little crunch on it. It's a lot, and it's doing everything that I needed to do.
I did make sweet potatoes and apples. I'm messing around with syrups and jus and all of that, all of those. Yes. I recently moved, so I'm in a new kitchen and I have an induction top. And so I'm like trying to make this my season of really perfecting my slurries and my roux and my syrups. And sweet potato syrup is one of those things that sometimes I have it spot on and sometimes I don't. I mean, in the past, I really was intimidated by sweet potatoes. So I would always use canned, and I would reserve just a little bit of the sauce, which kind of gave me this creative little head start or whatever. Now working with just sweet potatoes and not the can and like building my own sauce, I'm in that space where I'm trying to figure out what are the flavors and tastes that I want.
That was delicious. I love that apple, the crispness of the apple, and then the sweet, the softness of the sweet
And
potato.
it can
that
go
works
either
really
way.
well
It can be
together.
like a sweet dish or even a savory dish.
Yep.
So yeah.
That can
Yeah,
work
I was
really well
surprised.
together.
I've never had it before, but the apple and the sweet potato both go well with the spices.
I'm telling you, put a little pork chop, little baked pork chop off to the side of that bad boy.
Come on now.
Birdman hands.
All right, we got this cheese.
Now we're here getting into your cheesecake, bro.
We're moving on to dessert.
Yes, sir.
So as you can see, I did a base layer of cheesecake, and then you got your sweet potato on top, and then just a little swirl of cheesecake, just to kind of let you know it's not your grandma's.
Amen. Yeah,
The
that's good
thing
stuff.
I love about the cheesecake layer in this is that it's so soft and creamy. It's almost like the French cheesecake, but then it still has that firmness. Yes, it still has the firmness of a New York style.
Yeah.
This is Don style
Wow.
cheesecake, which I am a huge fan of anyway. Layered with the sweet potato, you just get such, like, it just feels like home almost. You know what I mean? Like, I know my grandmother would love this.
I feel like
really
home,
good.
if you walked in home, but somebody painted your walls a little bit. Like, I'm home, but something different in here. Like, what's going on?
I like cheesecake sometimes and sometimes I don't. I don't like super dense cheesecake, but this airy, just whipped. I like my sweet potato pie hot. I prefer it warm.
Yeah. I like my sweet potato pie cold.
Do
I
you?
want it
Sam,
cold.
I want mine high, and
that
I want to
is
put a
so
little
interesting.
dollop of double vanilla private selection, specifically ice cream, off to the side of it. And so this being cold,
Make you feel like your ice cream already there.
I mean, it just feels like everything is already together, like in one whop. Like I don't need the heat. I don't need the ice cream. This is just
there.
supreme.
So we have a most comforting bite, the most unexpected or unique flavors together, the most photogenic, and then the most likely to get grandma's approval. For our first one, the one that would get the grandma's approval, who would think?
I would say yours.
I would say yours, but
Yeah,
then I would be like,
'cause my
grandma would be
grandma-
like, hold on.
My grandma ain't shit. I'm with her. My grandma, she wasn't touching no Brussels sprouts. Hey, and she don't even want to use a different brand. If she was using Eagle, she not using nothing else.
If you ain't got it, they ain't having it.
Yeah, you know, they be stuck in their ways.
Definitely yours, but then when I taste yours, it has so much like comfort. Like it's such
Yeah.
a comfort food to be something that is literally trending right now like crazy. To where my grandmother be like, I mean, I'll try it. And then she'll eat a little bite and be like,
And then
don't
eat the
give
whole
me no
bag.
little piece. Yeah. So, but definitely tradition.
That's what my grandmother would say. She had a raspy voice.
Well, that boy had to be making them cheesecake.
So we'll go with Oya's for grandma.
We'll go with
Absolutely.
Oya's for the grandma's favorite bite.
Absolutely.
Okay, I love that. What do we think is the most comforting dish? I think for me, Don's dish
Absolutely.
is
That
absolutely
cheesecake,
the most
that
comforting.
sweet potato cheesecake, yeah.
This
Most
is
definitely.
me on the couch,
Yes,
like
with your
eating on my
legs
side.
crossed, called up,
Right, listen, come on now.
with a little blanket on. So then we have a most photogenic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be the Brussels sprout one, because me, as a foodie, I can see that in the magazine. All the different colors. You got the blue cheese, the bacon, you got the roasted Brussels sprout. I can
Right.
see that in a food.
Cover
like,
Bon Appetit, all the way.
I can see that 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then I also I don't want to just cheapen it though.
Yeah.
Like it's not just pretty because
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
absolutely delicious
I
too.
agree.
So we'll give CeCee the most photogenic dish, but we also gonna have to put right next to it that it's also damn delicious, right? And then that leaves us with the most unique flavors. And I really think JY's dish is really unique because I literally have never had apples and sweet potatoes
haven't
together.
Really?
Me
I've
neither.
never had them together.
Really?
First time.
Never
Oh
had
my
that
God.
combination.
I was a little scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was a little nervous. I was like, okay. I was like, we got a raisins and potato salad type of situation. What we doing here, you know? I was a little nervous.
It worked so
Yeah.
well though. This was such a beautiful time. I really appreciate y'all joining me today. So look, now I want to hear from you, right? Are you going with sweet potatoes or no sweet potatoes, right? Do you want to eat your sweet potato pie cold or warm? Do you want blue cheese or no blue cheese? I want to hear how you love to eat your sweet potatoes. Tell me all about it in the comments.